What is up, everyone? Today I'm showcasing Rhyperior with the newly added Breaking Swipe in the Open Master League. I was very excited to try out this Pokemon as with Mudslap, Breaking Swipe and Rock Wrecker. On paper, Rhyperior is a very good core breaker for some common Master League cores like Ho-Oh Dialga and Dialga Giratina. But in practice, I was honestly pretty disappointed. And in today's video, I want to show you why. We're just gonna head right into the battle, so starting off with a battle that will show what Rhyperior is supposed to do. Or at least one of the things it's supposed to do. We led Rayquaza into Dialga, which obviously is a bad lead, so switch into my Zacian here. Zacian is supposed to be like a lure out for Kyogres if they have it, which is kind of common with Dialga in the lead. And they do have Kyogre, they switch it into Zacian. This is amazing. I can go for the play rough here. We'll do a decent chunk of damage. They've just thrown 3 waterfalls, and it's 5 for the first serve. So they throw immediately. This is amazing. I don't think they could have farmed me down, but they could have definitely overfarmed a bit more. But them not overfarming is really good for me, because this means I can now just fully farm down with Rayquaza before they can get to like a Thunder or a Blizzard or Order Pearls, anything that threatens me really. This is just going to be a serve, so I can let it go on my Rayquaza. Still, Rayquaza is very squishy, so very kind of low. I bring in Rhyperior versus Dialga, and this is where Rhyperior shines. These Mudslaps are really doing a lot of damage. But I will have to shoot this Iron Head up, as it would knock me out at this range, I'm pretty sure. Out comes Giratina though, and this is what Giratina or Rhyperior was made for, to break this Dialga Giratina core. One Breaking Swipe does a decent chunk of damage versus Giratina. I'm gonna go for the next right before I can get to the Shadow Ball. 7 Shadow Balls for the Shadow Ball, the show that just got there. So bring him into the yellow. Unfortunately though, the Breaking Swipes just don't do enough. And I mean, I will survive the Shadow Ball now, but I don't think I'll be able to get to another move. No, they outpaced me to the Ominous Wind here. This will knock me out. Luckily, though, I still have my Rayquaza with some energy and some health left. So it should be able to take out the Dialga now. Yeah. Farm down the Giratina. 1 Breaking Swipe loaded. Fire it into the Dialga. This should get the shield. And then hopefully I can get this to the second one, which hopefully knocks him out. Get to another Breaking Swipe. Let's just knock out the Dialga. It's going to be pretty close. It's only neutral. Doesn't knock out, but another Dragon Tail will, and we win that first game. Next match, Ho-Oh lead. Very good for Rayquaza. I like just waiting to throw my move, because generally they like to throw immediately when I get to Brave Bird, which means I get a full free Dragon Tail in. And now if they decide to stay in, my Breaking Swipe will do more, of course. In comes Lugia. This is Shadow Apex Lugia, actually. And Rock Wrecker wouldn't one-shot just yet, so I decided to throw a Breaking Swipe, just to chip him a little bit, but actually shield. Maybe expecting a Dragon Ascent for me. Bring out Rhyperior now. This is only resisted, so I can't take it. Aeroblast. Yeah, Rhyperior is very, very tanky. Like a very, very tanky Pokemon, so I can take these moves pretty easily. Go for the Rock Wrecker now. Rock Wrecker, very strong move, but Lugia is so tanky. Doesn't even get knocked out. Make a bit of a mistake here. Apparently, at the start of when Master League launched, they accidentally unnerved Sky Attack. So that Sky Attack came out quicker than I was expecting. They've put it back to the like 50 energy now though, so that's not going to happen anymore. But in this battle it was 45 energy for some reason. Anyway, Ho-Oh comes back out. I Breaking Swipe bait. I go for the Rock Wrecker. This knocks out the Ho-Oh. I'm gonna instant switch into Ray. Out comes a Togekiss. This is bad, but luckily I survive on 1 HP and get to the Dragon Ascent. Does this knock out the Togekiss? Dragon Ascent, insane move. Almost knocks out the Togekiss, and now I can farm it out with Rhyperior. Now, those 2 games were how I was hoping things would go, but this is more like it really went. This, by the way, this team I built with Rayquaza lead in the hope that Rayquaza lead would lure out Dialgas, which I could then just fully Mudslap down with Rhyperior. The first Dialga I saw as a safe switch was this one. And it was in the 4th set of the day. I went 3 sets without seeing a single Dialga pivot, which was crazy. But this was finally one. As you could see, I've switched like incredibly quickly. And I'm gonna do some science here. Can I farm this down with Rhyperior? The first one, because I did basically the quickest switch in the West. You know, the quickest switch in the West. Can I farm this down? Come on, Mudslap, Mudslap, Mudslap. And I just barely can't. He gets to another Iron Head. So in that matchup, you still gotta throw a Breaking Swipe. And yeah, now that I've done this, this is pretty bad. I'm gonna throw a Breaking Swipe first, as I'm not gonna be able to reach 2 Rock Wreckers versus the Kyogre anyway. So I might as well just go for the Breaking Swipe first and then go for my Rock Wrecker. Though maybe I should have done it the other way around. Because this way the Kyogre gets more energy, which is a bad thing. I have maintained switch advantage though, so maybe not the worst if it's like Yveltal on the back maybe. But yeah, ends up being their Xerneas, and this point it's just gonna win with sheer advantage. So yeah, not the greatest. This game was immediately after that game, and again another Dialga switches in. I bring in Rhyperior, but now I know I can't farm this down, especially since this time I didn't switch as quickly. This time I threw a Dragon Tail before switching, and Dragon Tail does less than Mud Slap from Rhyperior, so definitely gotta throw a move here. I'll go for an Undercharge Breaking Swipe. And now I should be able to farm this down before it gets to another move. And I can, just barely. I was kind of afraid it was going to get to another move there, because it did just barely hang on to 1 HP. Out comes Giratina. I can just go for the Breaking Swipe here. Just thrown 2 Shadow Claws, which means it needs 5 more for the Shadow Ball, which means I can throw 3 Mud Slaps and my Breaking Swipe right before they get there. Which is perfect, because I needed exactly 3. This will do another chunk of damage and drop the attack. They've gone 1 over the Shadow Ball now, so I'll keep that in mind. I'm gonna bring in Rayquaza here. Out comes Metagross, and this is such a problem for this team. It's honestly a problem with Rhyperior in general. I found it's difficult to build a solid squad around it, because you kind of need counters for Kyogre, for Steel types. Like, you do fine against Excadrill and Melmetal actually, but you need counters for Kyogre, kind of need counters for the Fairy types. You need like a better... You still need some flying answers too. And covering for all of those is pretty difficult, I found. And this team just ended up being quite weak to Metagross. I was hoping I wouldn't face many, but I faced many. So, yeah, not great. End up losing that match, even though I won the lead pretty hard. Oh, this game? Oh, I got pretty lucky there, actually. They lagged a turn. Oh, that's very lucky for me, as that means that if I just shoot up this move, I will win switch advantage. But actually, I don't know I'm shooting this move. I'm gonna just take the Breaking Swipe, bring in Zacian now. Farm him all the way down with Quick Attack. Take this Breaking Swipe. Zacian with energy is nice. Rayquaza on the lead generally means that there's not gonna be like more flyers in the back. But there's a Lugia, which isn't great for me. And there's a Heatran. This is actually amazing. They know it's over, so they concede the match. Okay, another Metagross lead. Not the best, but this is kind of where I want to see it. Actually, I would prefer to see the first Rhyperior. Rhyperior can actually win this matchup. It makes it very close in the 1s, and in the 2s, you actually just win straight Mud Slap. So, not too bad of a match for Rhyperior. Terrible for Zacian, though. And it's alright for Ray. As you're going to see, I'm actually going to do some decent work here. I'll throw another Breaking Swipe here. So the buff the attack once more. Now there should be a couple bullet punches away from the next meteor mesh, which I am gonna let go. At this point, I'm fine with just letting it go. Hopefully I survive this though. That'd be really nice. Do end up surviving it. And I'm able to throw two Dragon Tails, get to the Breaking Swipe. This will knock out the Metagross if they let it go. Honestly, I'm hoping they shield, because I can still farm down with Rhyperior, but they let it go. And now I have switch advantage, which is nice, but I have a Lugia, and man, I mean, Rhyperior is fine in this matchup, but it's not great. It's really not great. So I switch in, especially 2 shields, because Rock Cracker only does like 50%. You need 2 of them. And Dragon Tails are going to add up so much. So I decided to go into Zacian first. And this is my mistake. I kind of miscounted here. But they were only at 8 for some reason, but they were at 9. So they throw Aero Blast. I should have really shielded that. Now I switch into my Rhyperior though. Out comes Yveltal. They have double flying. This should be Rhyperior's time to shine, but oh man. I'll take the first Dark Pulse here. Rhyperior loses CMP versus Yveltal, so I throw up to 3 right before they can get to the Dark Pulse. And you're gonna see this just barely doesn't knock it out. Oh, it just barely doesn't knock it out, which is just so unfortunate. So unfortunate. Just barely doesn't knock it out. And now this Lugia is just gonna take me out. Right? I'm going for the Breaking Swipe here, hoping they shield this. I feel like this might be my only like chance of winning, but they let it go, which is just crazy. But it makes sense. Rock Wrecker only does like 50% on Lugia. Then I try to catch, but at this point, you know, it doesn't really matter. Sky Attack's gonna knock me out. I can try to go for Rock Wrecker here, hopefully hoping they no shield, but they're just gonna shield, and my Rhyperior's gonna go down to a Sky Attack most likely. Yep. In this, by the way, you can also choose to run a Rhyperior with Rock Throw and Breaking Swipe. And then second move, I would recommend Superpower. I think that might honestly be the way. Because then you actually just hard beat the Flyers. And you still have coverage for Dialga as well with Superpowers. So Might just try that out next. Anyway, we have a Rayquaza Mirror. I win the CMP. Luckily, it's a coin flip. I have best buddied Zacian in this team because it's the only best buddy I have on this team. Otherwise, I would best buddy Rayquaza, honestly. If you have the option of picking the best buddy in this team, go Rayquaza. But honestly, if you have the option, just don't run this team, maybe. I don't think it's very good. My attack was dropped, so I didn't want to stay in this matchup with Zacian. So going to Rhyperior. This is honestly not even that bad of a matchup for Rhyperior. Can take a close combat pretty nicely. Just shoot up the next. And now should be able to take out the Xerneas with Rhyperior. Just gotta go for the Rock Wrecker before I get to the next move. Another matchup where I lose CMP. So I throw the Rock Wrecker one before I get to the next close combat. Just take him out. Still have the Rayquaza in the back though with energy too. So that's kind of tough. Out comes Groudon. This makes me even happier. I just used the Groudon on the Xerneas, or the Rhyperior on the Xerneas, because it definitely didn't want to face off against that Groudon. But now they just bring in Rayquaza versus my Zacian. They're able to debuff it twice, which is just really bad. Still, I'm pretty sure I can hit 2 moves on the Groudon to knock it out. So these debuffs really aren't making that much of a difference. It's still not great. I go for the player off first, as if I close combat once, then the Fire Punch will basically knock me out. So I'll just go for the close combat. Or for the play rough, I mean. They say close combat, I mean play rough once, because I don't want to get debuffed. Now shield this, because I think there's no shot they don't Precipice Blades, and they do Precipice Blades, so that's a good shield by me. But now I'm pretty sure just outpace, but I did kind of lose track of energy. I'm just hoping they try to throw on CMP, so I plan on trying to catch once I'm at close combat, but unfortunately I throw one before that, and I don't get the catch now. This will knock me out. Now I only have one more hope. Can my Rhyperior get to a breaking swipe? It can't. Gets knocked out by Mudshot, and that's a GG. Okay, Dialga lead. Go into Zacian. In comes Landorus, and this made me so incredibly happy, because this is a team I've seen before. This is a team I really, really like. It's Dialga, Landorus, Ho-Oh. And if it's that team, ooh, Rhyperior is looking pretty good. So at this point, I'm very fine with just letting Zacian go. Take the first Toad Edge. Then go for a close combat. This is CMP tie, so I'm just gonna... But as I said, I'm very fine with letting Zacian go at this point. I just want Rhyperior to sweep. I farm down the Landorus. And out comes Dialga again. This was a mistake, by the way. I should have waited out my timer. But it's fine. I can go for the breaking swipe here. This is some good chip damage. Go into the Rhyperior. Out comes Kyogre. Yeah, it was not the team I was expecting. Should have really tried to go for switch advantage there with my Zacian versus Landorus, but you know, sometimes you get a wrong call and a Kyogre ends up on your Rhyperior. This is what it is. Okay, ooh, Tyranitar lead, bring in Zacian, out comes Metagross. This is just really bad. At this point, all I can do is go for a close combat, do some chip damage, bring it into a range where I can hopefully farm out Rhyperior to throw the Meteor Mash pretty early here. So I'm hoping I can farm down here before they even get to a move. And if I can't, then I'll have to shoot once, which is also fine. Then I have a bunch of energy in Rhyperior, and I am actually able to farm this down just barely. Rayquaza is actually not the worst first Tyranitar, so I'm not feeling too bad about this right now. Rock Wrecker would one-shot Dragonite, so I'm gonna go for the bait here. My opponent no shields, which is just insane. That's a game-losing no shield right there. If I just go straight for Rock Wrecker, I straight up win the game. Straight up. But they no shield again, which is just insane. And then my Dragon Tail disappears. Look at this. This is the new, well, not a new bug, but look at this. Look at where the Dragon Tail damage goes. It doesn't go on the Dragonite, and it doesn't go on the Tyranitar either. Look at that. That was the second Dragon. I'm just going to do this again. Look at this. Only my second Dragon Tail of damage appeared. This is a new, well, it's not a new bug. It's been around for a while, but it's I haven't seen it ever before, but it's been there. I just haven't noticed it. It's when you throw a move at your opponent, but they switch right as the damage is supposed to register. And normally, the damage is supposed to register on a Pokemon that's switching out. So it should have registered on the Dragonite, but they got like a very quick swap or something, and the damage didn't register. And then it also just didn't register on the Tyranitar. Like, I'm not making any sense, I know, but that's because this bug doesn't make any sense. So, that Dragon Tail should have re-registered on Dragonite. I don't think it mattered though, I don't think it would have knocked out. Still, it's a very weird issue that really shouldn't be there. Anyway, next match, we finally have a great lead with Groudon there, and I kind of... This was actually the very first battle I played with the squad, and I saw Rayquaza come in, and I was like, what? What am I doing? And I forgot that I have Zacian in the back for a second. So I throw a Dragon Breaking Swipe there, which was honestly a mistake. I should have instant switched into Zacian. So I end up taking Breaking Swipe on Zacian because I switched so slow. Still, it's fine though. Zacian was able to survive it. Take a Breaking Swipe there, and now I can lay on some damage on the Groudon. And I still have Rayquaza as well to wall it. Go for close combat to try to catch it next on Giratina, but I was quick there. Went for the play rough, and now I can bring in Rhyperior versus Giratina most likely. And I still have Rayquaza for their Groudon too at this point. Rayquaza is looking pretty good to core break. Just gonna let this move go. Wanna save my shields for Rayquaza at this point. Rhyperior is very tanky, takes it easily. I go for the Breaking Swipe. Oh, after 3. Yes, there we go. Good timing, good timing. Go for the Breaking Swipe. This will knock out Giratina after they let it go, and they do let it go. Now I can just unleash Breaking Swipes on this Groudon. First one coming through from my Rhyperior. This will do a decent chunk of damage and drop their attack. Now I switch into Rayquaza because I don't want to get farmed down at this point. It's a pretty easy Dragon Tail down. Shield up this move just in case it's a Precipice Blades. At that point, it's the only win con for the opponent, and they go for it. So next game, Rhyperior in the lead. If it's Mud Slap, that's fine for Rayquaza, but it's Rock Throw, so or Smackdown, I mean. So switch to Zacian. Out comes their Mewtwo. Not a great matchup for Zacian, but I can definitely chip this enough to where I can farm it down with Rayquaza later. And at this point, I'm kind of hoping that my own Mud Slap Rhyperior is able to core break the rest of their team. They're 2 Side Strikes right now, but I'm hoping they miscounted, and I can just get my close combat off immediately, and it seems like they did. So I'll be able to grab a shield here, which is really nice, because normally you shouldn't be able to grab an advantage in this matchup. They're going to try to farm me down, but Zacian gets to another close combat, which will either take a switch here or take another shield. Ends up taking another shield. Fine with me at this point. 1 Dragon Tail will knock out, so I'm safely just shielding this, and I shouldn't take another Side Strike, because this Dragon Tail should have knocked them out, which it does. In comes their Rhyperior, switching to mine. Gonna take the Breaking Swipe here. And at this point, I'm hoping it's like a Dialga on the back. Maybe Giratina should be fine there, but it's Rayquaza. And this might seem pretty good, because I'm a rock type, but no, they're gonna get to the Breaking Swipe before I can get to a move. I'm gonna shoot this up, and then I'm gonna go for the Rock Wrecker. But I'm double debuffed. And even versus a very squishy Pokemon like Ray, it's gonna do not that much. Rock Wrecker coming through. Actually, does bring him into red. I guess that's a good amount of damage. I go for a Breaking Swipe here. Maybe this was a mistake, but I think they would have just farmed me down if I hadn't gone for that. Like, if I hadn't gone for that, the Rhyperior would have gotten less energy, but also it still would have just taken out my Ray. Rhyperior's tanky enough to where it could take a couple Breaking Swipes. So I don't think this game was possible whatsoever once they forced switch there, sadly. Gonna farm me down. We'll make it kind of close, but they have a move stored already. They throw the Breaking Swipe, and that will be game over for me. Alright. Next game we have... Ooh, Dragonite lead. Pretty even matchup here. I'll just throw the Breaking Swipe immediately. Some players like to catch the Breaking Swipe, but that's fine, because then I drop the attack of whatever switches in, and I have switch advantage, so that's okay. This Dragonite decided to shield though, and then switch into Mamo. There's a fine matchup for Zacian, especially a shield up. So switch it in. Really happy to see it here, as it core breaks Rayquaza and Rhyperior for sure. Don't throw my move, as I don't want to get debuffed. I let him throw Avalanche. And since I win CMP, I'm just going to throw Close Combat immediately. This will knock out the Mamoswine if I let it go. I really hope they do, because I don't want to... Actually, I would have been fine if they shielded too, because I had another one. Out comes Mewtwo now, and it's a Shadow Mewtwo. This is really scary. I'm going to go for the play rough. They likely shield this. And if they do, which they do, they can farm me all the way down, which is so scary, because now they have 2 moves. I'm going to bring in a Ray here, and I'm just going to let it go. At this point, I just got to sack Rayquaza, because if I could have maybe gotten to a Breaking Swipe there, but I would have needed to use 2 shields, which I didn't feel was worth it. I want to save my shields for Rhyperior at this point, as I'm still kind of scared of the Dragonite potentially getting to a superpower versus my Rhyperior later, which would still do a bunch of damage too. I bring out the Dragonite now. Thought they were already going to be at a superpower, so didn't throw my Breaking Swipe immediately, because I thought we would CMP and that would have been pretty awkward. But, you know, this way still worked out fine. I lived the superpower only just like 53%. Able to farm up a little extra, and now I should be able to get to the Breaking Swipe still to knock out the Mewtwo. Actually, I think it does at least. Breaking Swipe, not the strongest move. Knockout. it does, and we end the video on a win. So overall, as you could probably see by the amount of losses in this video, I did really bad with this team. I did 5 sets and I lost like 80 points, which yeah, it's pretty bad. It's not just only cause Rhyperior might not be that good though. Definitely made a few mistakes here and there. As well as, I think I got a bit unlucky with the lineups too. I faced 2 Tyranitar and a Rock Throw Rhyperior in the lead, which I feel like are pretty rare Pokemon to face. Multiple Kyogres in the back to get lined up versus my Rhyperior. And I only saw 2 Dialga save switches, which I think is really strange, as I feel like normally in Master League you see a ton of Dialgas switching in, because it is a pretty safe Pokemon to switch. And no, today there were only 2, which is unfortunate, because this team was built to like lure out those Dialgas and mud slap them down with Rhyperior. But even the couple Dialga switches I got, they were not that good. We saw it in the 3rd battle today, where basically instant switched Rhyperior into one of the Dialga switch-ins, and I wasn't able to mud slap it down before it got to 2 Iron Heads even, which is pretty disappointing. That means you're gonna have to use a Breaking Swipe in that matchup to force like the win in the one shields, and you still end up with like a decent amount of energy, but it's not that much. And you're a shield down, which is kind of a death sentence in Master League, especially when like a flyer can come in and just farm you down at that point. Like they shield once, they shield your 1 Rock Wrecker, and then they farm you down. It's just very, very tough. So overall, not too impressed with the Butt Slap moveset. It can definitely work, but it requires very exact positioning to work, which you can't always get. I do still want to try the Smackdown variant though, as it's just much better versus flyers, and you have that superpower to hit Dialga still, so I do think that one might have some play, but we'll see that in a future video, I guess. For now, I'm heading out. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Good luck with your battles, trainers.